Thank you for that lovely introduction, and good afternoon, everybody. Um, Mental illness crept up on me when I least expected it. I think most often, or at least in my case, it comes with absolutely no warning signs. And I was going through a phase that, the perception and the general understanding was that I was at a professional high. I'd had successful, consecutive hits professionally at the movies. I was in an amazing relationship. My parents and my sister have always been, extremely supportive of everything that I've done in my life. And so everything that we think should be okay in our life was going more than okay. It was absolutely perfect. And I remember waking up just one morning, leading an absolutely normal, or what I thought was normal. It started with, I fell, I fainted. There was a complete blackout. I fainted, I hit my head. And I used to live alone at this time. And luckily the house help had arrived. And she saw me lying on the floor and sort of revived me. And then, I gained consciousness. I sort of slept through the day, got an appointment with a general practitioner, went and saw him. He said, oh, it's nothing. It's probably just exhaustion, or your BP just fluctuated. And that was it. That was sort of the physical symptom. But what I was also experiencing was this sort of hollow, sort of empty, pittish feeling in my stomach. I would break into a sweat every now and then. I would just suddenly get into these sort of panic phases where I just felt like, I needed to just get out and, gasp for breath. And I would just cry, like out of nowhere. I would just break down and cry there was no one really had to say anything to me, or I didn't necessarily have to be in a specific place. I would just, I could be in this room and suddenly just feel like I need to cry and express myself. And then there were days when I just didn't want to get out from bed. I would just want to sleep and not wake up, because to me, sleep felt like my escape, and I felt like I didn't have to deal with the reality of what I was experiencing. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to interact with anybody. I didn't want to, I didn't want to go to work. I'd lost, motivation with absolutely everything. And fortunately, my mother happened to be there a couple of months into this. My parents live in a different city, and they had come to visit. And I was sitting in their room, and they were packing up and ready to leave. And I had one of those moments where I was just watching her pack, and I suddenly I broke down. And she looked at me and she said, what happened? Is everything okay? And I said, yes, everything was okay, but clearly everything was not okay. And, she asked me the routine questions about, is it my relationship? Is it something at work? And I just kept saying no, and I didn't know what was that one thing. I couldn't point my finger at it. And she immediately looked at me and said, Dipika, I think you need professional help. And that's when we called Anna Chandy, who, at the point was a family friend, but also a trained psychologist. But at that point, we felt like we wanted to share this with somebody who we could trust, someone who was not going to, we were concerned about what the media was going to say, and we didn't want to be seen outside a psychiatric clinic. So everything was hush-hush. I remember calling up Anna. She was in the middle of a personal crisis. She was traveling. And I called her, and